live to the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, season number 4 race from the Michigan International Speedway. And we are in the Irish Hills of Michigan here tonight for race number 10 of season number 4 here in the Cup Series. As we welcome you live to the broadcast booth, I'm your, as always, Ethan Trendler in the booth. I actually wasn't in the booth at all last night in the Xfinity Series race. That was led by Cameron Chandler, Braden Hunsaker, Matthew White, and Andrew Stacy. That was the driver's only broadcast last night for the Xfinity Series, but we are back here tonight. And I'm back, of course, for the first time since the Cup Series at Chicagoland. And we're going to have, of course, just me in the normal booth for tonight. I'm all alone there, but we'll have Landon Johnson for a bit of in-race reporting for today. This, of course, is Michigan, 2 Mile Oval in Brooklyn, Michigan. This should be a very interesting one tonight. Michigan has produced some fantastic NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series races in the past, and we look for no less here tonight. As we prepare to go in to Michigan International Speedway. This is the Cup Series in season number 4. So last night in the Xfinity Series, of course, what a race that was, all the way down to the wire. Richard Cherry ended up getting his second Xfinity win of the season. You'll see him here tonight in the Cup Series race here. He was planned to be filling in for Pace and Lindsay, but that actually changed, and now Zane Rahman is actually going to be making his Cup Series debut tonight. He's a full-time Xfinity Series driver. He's had a kind of a rough going there in Xfinity, but he looks to do a little bit better in the Cup Series here tonight. Of course, this is, like I mentioned, the 10th race of the season for the Cup Series, all points-paying races. And it also is just now over halfway through the regular season at Chicagoland last week, where that was the halfway point of this Season 4 regular season. All right, cars are going to be on the racetrack here in a few moments from the Michigan International Speedway for the warm-up session, half hour as always. Then are going to go into the 2-lap qualifying session. It is 2 laps at all non-super speedways, 1 lap at super speedway races, and the race tonight is 100 laps, 200 miles. We'll be at Michigan International Speedway in just a few moments. Stay tuned, live on the channel from Michigan. All right, cars pulling on to the track here from the Michigan International Speedway in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. Here we go from the Irish Hills of Michigan. We just about to welcome you in live. All right. Now, of course, we welcome you in live to Michigan here in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. Cars pulling on to the racetrack from Michigan International Speedway down the front straightaway. That's the 12 of iRacing actually wants to work for 5 minutes. That is the 12 of Trenton Wilkin. He's had a kind of a rough going. He's been quick this season, though, so far. But he currently sits outside of the playoff cut line. And going to be looking for some good speed tonight in Michigan as he heads down the back straightaway. Into 3 and 4 goes the driver of the 12, Trenton Wilkin. He is multi-time Xfinity Series winner. Still looking for that first ever Cup Series victory, though. Can tonight at Michigan International Speedway be the day? We'll have to wait and see. So far, 3 cars over the line: Matthew White, Trenton Wilkin, and Landon Johnson. Here is, in his, of course, like we mentioned, Cup Series debut, Zane Rahman in the 99, filling in for Payson Lindsay. Of course, another week of suspension for the driver, the actual driver of the 99, Payson Lindsay, unfortunately for him. Rahman heads down the front stretch into 1 and 2. Looks like he's in a lower gear for whatever reason. 2 cars race down the back straightaway. That is Braden Hunsicker in that 77 and the 29 of Richard Cherry. Here's the 9 of Bryce Benton, heading down to 1 and 2. So you do see some patriotic paint schemes on the racetrack. That is, of course, the 4th of July is tomorrow, so happy early 4th of July, of course. And we happy to be celebrating that, our great, amazing country, the United States of America. And down to 3 and 4 goes that pizza of John Butler. Of course, the actual patriotic paint scheme weekend is at the Charlotte 200, which ends in 2 weeks' time, with the All-Star race from Rockingham next week. John Butler down in the turns 1 and 2. There's the 52, that is Joseph Tucker. Pulling onto the track, he has had a rough going this season, multiple DNFs. Not a whole lot of speed in the 52 car. He'll be looking for a big turnaround tonight in Michigan. There's the 72 of Connor Aswell down in the 3 and 4. Here's that 12 of Trenton Wilkin. He's heading down the front straightaway in line with the 97 of Gary Smith. Gary Smith, he had a great stretch of races, but unfortunately it's been all kind of bad ever since. And then he also had a penalty after Fontana, which definitely didn't help. So currently Gary Smith sits 28th in points, which is really where he needs to be, for being honest. Matthew White, top of the board so far. We got a side-by-side battle, door-to-door, Matthew White and Landon Johnson. They're actually going to have probably, I guess you can say, 2 patriotic paint scheme weekends in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League this season because of the 4th of July, and Johnson slams the wall. There is Rahman down the back straightaway in 3 and 4. Here's the 88 pulling to the side. Here's Cameron Chandler, that 29 of Richard Cherry as well. Back into 1 and 2 for the driver of the 29. Here's Justin Tucker in that 52 car, currently 6th on the board. Car on the wall, Bryce Benton, and he's spinning down the front straightaway in the 9. Through the grass he goes. There is Tucker once again across the line. Still P6. He improves his lap time ever so slightly. Alright. Somebody's spinning. That's the 97 of Gary Smith are going around. Here's the 79 of Ashton Miller, another patriotic paint scheme here. Gear wrench on the car. Ooh, we got a car sitting in the middle of the track. That was Matthew White. Here is the 20. That is Mark Prince heading down the front straightaway in the High Point colors this week. Mark Prince, another driver that needs a really solid run tonight at Michigan. Driver of the 20 for Johnson Motorsports. Currently sits all the way back 38th in points. So he needs a really good day today if he wants to make any of that up. You got Jacob Malone down the back straightaway in the 45, of course, in his 3rd Cup start of the season. Raced last week in Chicagoland, and he's done Xfinity and Cup the last 2 weeks as well. He's ran really well in all the races. We'll see what he can do tonight from Michigan. As he comes across the line for the first time on this time lap. Here's the 99 of Payson Lindsay. Here's the 97 of Gary Smith. Here is the 48. That is Dylan Banks. Having a bit of a manufacturer's change this week to Toyota for him. Oh, Banks in the wall. 3 and 4. Some cars on pit road. Here is Joseph Tucker and William Reagan now rolling onto the track. William Reagan, he's had an up and down season. Currently, he sits 15th in points, minus 12 to the cut line. Let's actually look at that playoff cut line for a minute. So you got Matt Graff, he's plus 11, and then you got Sean Hilkwich, he's plus 8. Then you got Trenton Wilkin just minus 8 below the cut line. Connor Aswell minus 12. William Reagan minus 12 as well. Tucker moves to the outside of that 36 of Reagan. So of course, talking about them, talking about Connor Aswell actually in 782. Of course, he has that one win on the year at Fontana, which is the other 2-mile oval. Definitely a little bit different than Michigan, but it's the most similar that you can get on the track on the schedule. As cars head down the front straightaway yet again. There is Jacob Malone. But of course, other than that win at Michigan, or I should say Fontana for Connor Aswell, it has been an absolutely abysmal season so far. Leads the series in DNFs. He's really not had a whole lot of speed anywhere else. I mean, actually, that's not even true. He's had good speed. He just is very, very wreck-prone, I guess you could say. Ooh, contact. Braden Hunsaker and the 7 of Matthew White. And White will go in the wall. I mean, other than that win, he's maybe had like 1, 2 other good finishes. I mean, it has just been absolutely abysmal. That win is the only thing keeping him even close to the playoffs at this point. Jacob Malone goes to second on the board, just behind Matthew White. Here's William Reagan and Joseph Tucker back in the 3 and 4. Tucker trying to get some clean air on that nose. Through turns 3 and 4 and down this front straightaway on that Ford Mustang of William Reagan. Here is Mark Prince back into 1 and 2. There is the 12 of Trenton Wilkin rolling back on the track. Car on the wall nearly. That's the 9 of Bryce Benson. Here's the 96 of Andrew Stacy. Another driver that's had an abysmal season, but lately, the last few weeks, has actually started to turn it around. Went from bottom 25 in points all the way to 19th in the standings. He is currently minus 17 to the cut line, so it is definitely doable for Andrew Stacy, but he's going to have some good races coming up to be able to make that happen. We're now over the halfway point in the regular season. Go to Joseph Tucker. He's another driver I want to talk about. Currently sits 21st in points. I mean, he hasn't really, he's, of course, just really not had a whole lot of speed in that 52. He's had some DNFs as well. Well, his best finish was in the Daytona 500, as we get a car crashing in the wall, is William Reagan, down to the backstretch. Nearly halfway through the warm-up session here from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Mark Prince up the racetrack in that 20 Toyota Super Camry. And into 1 and 2 he goes. Here's Jacob Malone, there's John Butler. As far as drafting down this back straightaway, 3 Chevrolets, Braden Hunsaker, Matthew White, and that 8 of Cameron Chandler. These currently are the top 3 in the Cup Series standings. Bryce Benton is tied with Braden Hunsaker with 143 points. And it's a 44-point deficit between Cameron Chandler and Matthew White for the points lead. Matthew White currently has it. There's that 48 of Dylan Banks, way up the racetrack yet again. He is ripping the wall. Currently 15th on the standing, so not really finding a ton of pace so far, but still only halfway through the session. Here's Connor Aswell on pit road to get the Michigan colors on this weekend, of course, at Michigan. Makes sense. Down into 1 and 2 goes Richard Cherry. All right, still just getting underway from Michigan International Speedway for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, race number 10 of the season. And Cherry looks like he's slowing down the backstretch. For whatever reason. Gonna actually spin. Back here. And he should just reset back to pit road. Here is Braden Hunsaker in the 77 down the front stretch. All right, Landon, we're about halfway through this session. You're currently 18th on the board. What's the feeling on the racetrack currently?
I ran about 10 laps and not really any tire wear off. You can run multiple lines. The draft is going to be super important.
So, like, what do you expect? It's going to be like in qualifying? Like, how flat out do you think you're going to be able to hold it?
I think you're going to be right on the wall, or right in the middle of the track. This flat out, go as hard as you can.
All right, thank you, Landon, for some of the information. About 13 minutes to go here in this warm-up session from Michigan International Speedway. Here is Trent looking back on the 3 and 4, currently P7 on the board. There is the 48 of Dylan Banks, another Toyota. Here is Jamie McKinney in one of his Cup Series starts this season with his single-car team Chipped Up Racing. Of course, we have to talk about his Xfinity Series win last week in Chicagoland. My goodness, what a drive it was from 10th to 1st in one lap. And wonder if in the Xfinity Series that was. He's looking to do something similar tonight in the Cup race. He has one career Cup Series win back in Season 2 at Martinsville. One guy that's really, really good at Martinsville, Dylan Banks. Really looking for that in the playoffs this season. He won there last season. And he's still currently 15th on the board, but I have seen him ripping. He's been ripping the fence this entire session, so I don't really understand what's. I don't know if that's a good, like, I guess you can say, way to gain time or anything, but it's not really working out so far for him. But that's just like pure lap time. Getting a run off the outside is definitely a must. Ooh, car spinning. That's Matthew White, and he's going to get slammed by his teammate, Braden Hunsaker. They wrecked big time down that front straightaway. All right. You just heard an Ethan Trindler voice crack moment. Of course we did. Tucker will be spinning on the back straightaway here. All right, so still about 11 minutes remaining in this session, just over that. Here's the 22 of Cole Wilson. Down this front straightaway, back in a 1 and 2. If I could actually talk to them, would be nice. All right. Let's talk about last week. So, of course, Alexander Ortega making his NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series debut. Goes out, of course, expecting some big things. Of course, he is full-time in the Xfinity Series this season for Chandler Wilson Racing. Went out into the Cup Series race. Ran really well. But, of course, a bit of a controversial moment with him and Matthew White. They got together. He moved White out of the way. Of course, White was not happy because Matthew is a full-time Cup Series contender and Ortega is not. He's full-time in the Xfinity Series. After that all went down, of course, White not happy whatsoever. Showed his displeasure to Ortega on the cooldown lap. Of course, Ortega still ended up winning the race. Dylan Banks goes to 9th on the board for his first ever NASCAR iRacing FedEx League win. He's still looking for that first Xfinity win. He's got a car spinning. Round goes the 77 of Braden Hunsaker. Yeah, so Banks has been so... Banks. There's Diego Rodriguez down the front straightaway. But like I was saying, Ortega has been so close to his first Xfinity win multiple times, but still looking for it. And we'll have to see when it actually comes. The Xfinity Series heads to Rockingham next week. They actually have a points race. The Cup Series does not at Rockingham. They have the All-Star race. But of course, we got 100 laps at Michigan first of all tonight. Much more cars down this back straightaway. The 48 of Dylan Banks to the outside of Eli Tomlin. As they head back to 3 and 4. Oh, Tomlin's going to turn the 48 of Banks into the wall. those two will go. All right. More. Oh, got a car wrecking this. The 45 of Jacob Malone. Another one wrecking this. The 23 of Diego Rodriguez. Here's Cole Wilson, Connor Asbell. Diego Rod. Oh my God, we got a horrible crash. Andrew Stacy barrel rolling in the grass.
they were just sitting in the middle. They were just sitting in the middle of the track.
I mean, average practice in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series here. Asbell will make his way through 3 and 4 in those Michigan colors, like we said earlier. But anyways, like I was saying, Diego Rodriguez actually was announced he'll be full-time for Giesbert Racing Management for the rest of the season, replacing the driver that hasn't made a start, Brian Reyes. Be full-time with Giesbert and Tomlin, as always. Oh, another one spinning on the back straightaway. That's 23 going around. I'll reset back to pit road. Still about 8 minutes left to go in this warm-up session from Michigan. It's kind of right on the 72, the 88. Landon Johnson back on the bottom. Looking like he's coming up pit road. Here is Asbell down the front straightaway. Diego Rodriguez back on to the racetrack. Oh, got a big wreck. Into the wall goes Braden Hunsaker in the 77. Oh, and that was the 23 of Rodriguez into him once again. And Johnson gets some tires here. So the fuel window is going to be something we have to look at tonight. It's actually going to be a little bit less fuel, so you can't make it to the end of the stage. I think it's about maybe like 38 to 40 laps in the fuel window for Michigan.
Yes, about 41, 42 laps.
So yeah, you would have to save about what, 18 miles or so. You're not going to be able to do that, I don't think, unless we get a ton of cautions. But if we did, you would pit anyways and make that a non-factor. But anyways, like I was saying, we will, of course, if we don't have a caution in the first half, see green flag pit stops in this race. And if it works out the right way in the second half, we also will see green flag pit stops then. But that's, of course, both scenarios barring 0 caution flags in that half. For 100 laps in Michigan. About 7 minutes to go here in the warm-up as the 90 Eli Tomlin will roll back on the track. Oh, crash. There goes Ashton Miller, Mark Prince, and, of course, the 7 of Matthew White. The wall. All right. There's the 48 of Dylan Banks as well. There's the 22 of Cole Wilson, your Daytona 500 champion. I was running up front in the Xfinity race last night. Nearly got the win there, which would have been his second Xfinity win of the year. And here comes, oh, wrong driver, that's Connor Asbell. Here's the hometown driver, the 79 of Ashton Miller. Of course, hometown in Michigan. Home state, I should say. Lives around this area as he'll pull on to the racetrack. And he'll be looking for his first ever Cup Series victory still here tonight. Pull on to the racetrack in that 79 car. Of course, he is an Xfinity Series winner here for Michigan back in Season 2. Ran the Xfinity race last night, finished 14th. Really was a no factor all day, though. So we'll see if he can do anything better tonight in the Cup Series. Oh, Joseph Tucker in the middle of the track will reset. Here is Cameron Chandler aggressively coming to pit road. Oh, and he'll spin into the wall hard. Oh my God, he'll collect Matthew White. Terrible crash on pit road. My God. Lord. That was not pretty at all. All right. Anyways, Zane Rahman coming up pit road in the 99. And about 5 minutes left in this warm-up. Oh, cars crashing. There's the 8 of Cameron Chandler around the 72 of Connor Asbell, and then 22 of Cole Wilson. They go around. Still about 4 minutes to go in this warm-up session, so some things to talk about tonight. Going to be a big drafting-style track, of course. Going to be important in the draft all night long. 100 laps around here, so 40 laps longer than the Xfinity Series race last night. Oh, around goes the 12 of Trenton Wilkin. Here is Logan Giesbrecht down the back straightaway. That thing is a little bit shiny. The Red Bull car, the Toyota for the 88 Giesbrecht. Giesbrecht actually started off the season very well. He was actually inside of the playoff bubble. A bunch of rough weeks. He now finds himself 27th in points. He is minus 30 to the cut line. That's a full race. If you win and win the stage and the race, you don't have to win the pole or get 0x, but you still have to do those two things, and then the drivers on the cut line, they have to no score as well, so it's going to be very tough for him to do that tonight. Oh my god! Matthew White on his lid. Terrible wreck. Just under 3 minutes to go. Oh, contact. Here's Hunsicker and Chandler going around. All right. So looking at some cars that are still on pit road here. Here is Giesbrecht rolling back through the pits. And back on the racetrack for Logan Giesbrecht. Oh, this is going to be terrible. Connor Asbell rolling through the grass. And back onto the track, into the wall hard. Nearly goes on his side. Get somebody coming. That was Cameron Chandler. They'll avoid him. Here's Braden Hunsicker in the 77. Let's look at the top 5 so far. You got Braden Hunsicker top of the board now. Matthew White second. Chandler third. Malone, Wilkin fourth and fifth. Cherry, Miller, Benson, Tucker, Banks rounding out your top 10. In practice. Definitely the interval's a little bit further than I would have thought. So you got Malone, Chandler, White, Hunsicker. They're all within a half a tenth of each other, less than actually. And then you got back Wilkin about a tenth back, then Cherry about 2/10 back, and then you got a bunch of drivers just about 2/10 back, and then you got 3/10, 4/10, of course, all the way back to last car that has made a time, Landon Johnson, 22nd.
I'm not a practice guy. I'm a race guy.
And maybe even a qualifying guy. Landon Johnson unofficially won the pole position here from Michigan back in season number 1. It was actually back when, yeah, the league was stupid. And there was, of course, we messed up the actual setup for all practice. I mean, the race. And then we had to actually go back and change things. Landon Johnson ended up actually winning the unofficial pole. Unfortunately, he didn't get to keep it because we had a new qualifying session and he ended up qualifying not in the pole position. Landon Johnson definitely has good history here from Michigan. We'll see what he can do. Needs a good night today. Winding down, about 15 seconds to go in this warm-up session from Michigan International Speedway. Cars wrecking all over the place back here, I think. Into the wall goes the 23 of... Oh, Rodriguez is... Oh, my God! McKinney destroys him, and that will do it here in this warm-up session. Qualifying coming up next in Michigan. Time to see who's going to be sitting on pole position from the Irish Hills. Here we go in quali. All right. So car's just about to pull on to the track. Just a quick second. All right. Car is pulling on to the racetrack as we welcome you live to qualifying for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series in Michigan. Here we go. Who is going to be sitting on pole? We'll find out in about 5 minutes' time. Cars, of course, warm-up lap. Going to be important. You got 2 laps to do it here in qualifying. Michigan in the Xfinity car, at least, was a 2-lap qualifying track, so we'll see what happens tonight. Matthew White going to pull it all the way down to the apron to start his opening flying lap here for Michigan. There is the 88 of Landon Johnson on the time lap. Here's Zane Rahman in the 99 coming onto the track. Ashton Miller heading through 1 and 2. Here is Mark Prince. There is Trenton Wilkin in the 12. There's William Reagan heading down the front stretch as well. Here's Cole Wilson currently on pit road, the 72 of Connor Aswell. Back into 1 and 2 goes the 52 of Joseph Tucker. Cars on times is Jacob Malone in the 45. There's Zane Rahman. Here is Braden Hunsicker for 3 and 4. On the gas. Off of turn number 4 and back down the front straightaway. What will the time be for the driver, the 77? Across the line he goes. Matthew White top of the board, 38-4. Johnson second, Miller third. Hunsicker is now second. Malone is third. Stacy fourth. Here comes Dylan Banks on tractors. Cameron Chandler across the line. Tucker is seventh. Chandler just starting his time. So will lap 2 have improvements? We'll see. Here's Matthew White back into 3 and 4 for the final time. Back into the car, looks like it was almost coming out. Off turn 4 he goes, back down the front straightaway from Michigan. What's the lap time going to be for the 7? It was a 38-4 to start. He will, I don't think, improve. Nobody really improves. Ashton Miller's up the 5th. Johnson is done. He's up the 6th. He's at 7th. Wilkins still on the track, I believe, yet to go. Hunsicker is P2. Chandler is 4th. White is done, currently on provisional pole for the driver of the 7. Chandler's done. He currently provisionally qualifies P4. Bryce Benton now on track. So we got some late qualifiers here like we always do. Gary Smith, another one on the racetrack. Here's Eli Tomlin off turn number 4 and back down this front straightaway. He's currently P11, coming to his final lap. Wilkin is P4. Good starting spot for him so far. Tomlin will finish his final lap here from Michigan, and he does not improve. Here is Zane Rahman, currently 13th, and he is done. Wilkins spitting. There's the 8 of Chandler. Connor Aswell across the line. He is 6th. Not bad for the driver of the 72. We look for good things for him tonight. He has good history at these 2-mile ovals in the Cup Series. Dylan Banks was nowhere really in practice early. Came on a little bit later instead of the top 10. Down the backstretch he goes for the first time in his qualifying. And back into 3 and 4. Here we go, down the front straightaway. He's going to cut it all the way down to try to improve any lap time he can. I believe this is coming to his second flying lap. Should be the first one done. And he is 4th currently for Dylan Banks as he heads through 1 and 2. Here's the 9 of Bryce Benton, currently 16th on that first lap. Needs improvement on lap 2. About a minute to go for these drivers to run. Gary Smith currently 12th. Chandler's spinning. There's Reagan on pit road. There's Cole Wilson down the back straightaway. Here's Bryce Benton back into 3 and 4. Ooh, he downshifts. Interesting for the driver of the 9. And he'll be heading off turn 4 down the front straightaway once again. Where is it going to be? The driver that nearly got his first win at Chicagoland last week in an absolute heartbreak. Up from 16th place. It is going to be 9th for Bryce Benton. Dylan Banks, he wraps it up, I believe, as well. He is 5th. Cole Wilson done. He's 4th for Cole Wilson. Not bad at all for the 22. William Reagan, he did not put down a time. We're running down the clock here from Chicagoland, or okay, from Michigan. And it's going to be the 7, Matthew White on pole in Michigan as we wrap it up, and we'll welcome you live to the Michigan International Speedway. All right. We welcome you live to Michigan in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series here for the season number 4 race from Michigan. Welcome live to the Irish Hills. Let's go through your starting lineups. Of course, on a pole position, the 7 of Matthew White leads all time in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series for poles. Gonna get another one tonight. 2 is outside. It's gonna be his teammate Brandon Hunsaker, so it's an all Highline Motorsports front row. Row number 2 will consist of Jacob Malone in the 45 machine for ETR. Row number will be joining Cole Wilson on the outside with him. Row 3 will consist of ETR teammates Dylan Banks and Trenton Wilkin. Row number 4 will be the 8 of Chandler and the 72 of Aswell Tucker, and Bryce Benson will round out your top 10, and the rest of the top 20 and the rest of the field is rolling across the left side of your screen. All right, Landon Johnson, practice qualifying. It's over here for Michigan. We learned a lot. What is going to be the biggest factor, do you think, in this race?
The draft. It's going to be the biggest factor. You're going to want to stay in the draft. You're probably going to want to save a little bit of tires. It's going to be like 40 lap runs. I'm sure people's going to stretch it on fuel.
Yeah, definitely going to be very, very interesting from the Irish Hills. We'll see what we get here tonight, as cars are just about ready to roll off the grid. This is race number 10 of the Cup Series season. On pole, 2 drivers with 2 wins this season, Matthew White and Braden Hunsaker. Of course, teammates from Highline Motorsports as well. Cars are about to roll off of the grid from Michigan International Speedway. Here we go. We welcome you live to Michigan tonight. Cars will come down pit road this time by to check everything as always. Alright. Come to pits this time as the back of the field will roll off. This is Michigan. This is the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, and drivers are about to come to pit road to check their pit road speed. All right. 100 laps. As always, this race in the past has been absolutely phenomenal. We expect more of the same tonight. So, of course, they come to pit road this time by to check their pit road speed and check their pit boxes. As always, we've got the shoes cone down the front straightaway. Nothing changes there. Just overall normal NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series race. That's for now. Here they come to pit road. Let's check pit road speed. All right. So we're hearing Gary Smith has already went to the garage for whatever reason. So not really sure what's going on there. Driver of the Showtime Motorsports 97. All right, cars rolling down to the back straightaway, just about to drop the green. This is race number 10 of the Cup Series season, and it's from Michigan International Speedway. This should be a very, very interesting one all night long. 100 laps, 200 miles. It is race 10 of the Cup Series in season number 4. And it's Matthew White, Braden Hunsicker leading the field to the green flag. Teammates on front row. Pate's car gonna make that hard left turn down to the pits. The 7, the 77, leading the field to the green flag. We are underway in racing from Michigan. Down the backstretch they go for the opening time. Cole Wilson to the inside of Jacob Malone. It's White and Hunsicker both being clear for the race lead. To the outside now goes Malone on the 7-22. Wilson, they'll be side by side heading down the front straightaway for the opening time. Leading lap 1 will be the 7 of Matthew White, your pole position starter. Here's Dylan Banks pushing on his teammate. You got 3 ETR Toyotas lined up there. Through 1 and 2 they go yet again. Oh, car getting loose on the inside. Cole Wilson nearly overcorrected. And the wrecking in the back straightaway. Multiple cars going around. The caution's going to come out. You got Connor Asbell already. He's going to absolutely destroy Bryce Benton. What just happened? We got the 88 Giesbert, the 88 of Johnson. What happened? 79 of Miller around the 36 of William Reagan. And it all started with Cameron Chandler going around. What? I don't even know what happened there. But about 8, possibly 10 cars involved. I mean, that was, I don't even know what you call that. Let's take a look at what happened on lap 3 to bring out the yellow for the opening time. So, Chandler on the outside. Oh, is Cole Wilson getting loose first? Oh, so it looks like Wilkin door slams the 9 of Benton, then he goes up into the 8 of Chandler. Chandler spins, hooks the 22, hooks the 12. Wilkin in the wall again. That 12 car not looking so good. And just almost the big one on the back straightaway. My goodness, what a chaotic start to the race. Bryce Benton is on the radio saying, day is over already. Yeah, just into the wall. Then it gets hit by the 01 of McKinney, the 52 of Tucker. He spins Christian Leonard through the field. And, oh, Connor Asbell right into the path of the 9 of Benton. And this is just horrible to start the race. This is just worst case scenario. This is horrible. What are they doing on lap 2? It's right along with the 12 of Wilkin to see what he saw. I mean, this is just worst case scenario. This is, wow. Riding along with just, door slams from the bit, and then just minimal contact, but still. Being turned around as that 12. Into the wall he goes. Spinning on the back straightaway.
Connor Asbell already DNF'd from his wreck right there.
Yeah, that is just so unfortunate. I mean, we saw this kind of thing early in the Cup race last week. I don't know. It was Cole Wilson who all started it. Then you had Wilkin. I think he was trying to avoid Wilson. And then he just barely tapped the 9. The 9, so close to his teammate, the 8 of Cameron Chandler, had nowhere to go. Hit the 8, and then they all wreck down there. The yellow flag is already out. We got cars on pit road. I mean, this is probably the worst way you can start a race. About 8 cars damaged in that accident. There's the 9 of Benson. He is probably done. Andrew Stacy's got damage. Landon Johnson is damaged. Landon, you were involved in that. You got a bit of a piece of that. What can you really talk us through what happened in that wreck?
Yeah, I just saw Ponder spinning up the track and back down the track. And I was on the brakes, and I just got arca braked. I just got ran over and then slid. I don't know how I have 2 minutes of damage from that, but I was going to get about a minute repair, and we're going to go.
Yeah, but the big losers and all that, Connor Aswell, Bryce Benson, Logan Giesbret, they might have to retire from this event. So Giesbret actually still on the track there. It's Connor Aswell and Bryce Benson, the 2 losers. Let's check on Cameron Chandler. I don't know where he went. Where is Chandler? There's the 88.
You're saying somebody's disappearing.
shoes this time. What were they saying?
They're saying somebody's disappearing, like their internet.
I don't know who it is. I don't. Is it Chandler? I don't know where Cameron is. Cameron Chandler currently, no, it's not. He's right there in the 8. Actually, somehow got minimal damage from that. I'm actually honestly shocked. You got Benson, he's done. Asbel is done. 2 DNFs to start this race. Connor Asbel and Bryce Benson. And that's going to be terrible for Bryce Benson. And yeah, that's of course going to be also terrible for Connor Asbel. Another DNF. That's, I believe, maybe his 7th of the year, and he was just minding his own business, gets caught up in that. Just unfortunate early on in the race. We're going to be restarting here on lap 6. My God.
Another DNF. Mavic Spear DNF.
We also had, did not start, the 97 of Gary Smith. We had 25 original starters. Supposed to have like 28, but whatever. They'll be coming back to the green flag so far. Here tonight, we have 2 official DNFs, Connor Asbel and Bryce Benson, out of the race. Already here in Michigan, it'll be Matthew White starting from the outside lane. He'll choose the high side. Malone's going to be in the inside lane. We'll see how the outside works on the restart for Matthew White. He'll have teammates, 3 Toyotas down to the inside, coming back to the green flag from the Irish Hills of Michigan on lap 6. Good restart by Matthew White in the outside lane. He is, believe, clear Malone. Yes, he is. Hunsicker in the 77 back up top. Malone's going to drop in front of the 77. We'll clear him in the 1 and 2. Ooh, Christian Leonard nearly in the wall. There's Mark Prince having to avoid 1 car getting loose. Joseph Tucker. We got Jamie McKinney in the pits right now as they head down the back straightaway in the 3 and 4. Miller up the track. You got Tomlin in the middle. Joseph Tucker on the bottom. Ashton Miller in the wall, slightly ahead of Cameron Chandler. Tucker gonna nose his way in there. They draft their way down this front straightaway. Already thinned out, and 5 or 6 cars. Backing into 1 and 2. Here is Malone. Coming to the outside lane. Trying to get into line ahead of that behind that 7 car. In the 3 and 4 they go yet again. Here is Christian Leonard dropping to the outside of that 48 of Dylan Banks. They're going to be door to door, rolling down this front straightaway side by side in Michigan. Banks will let the 5 of Leonard go. Leonard up to B4 already. To the inside once again. Here is Eli Tomlin on the bottom of the racetrack. You got cars in line. They got cars on the bottom of the racetrack. You got a whole mess here. Tomlin on the inside of the 22 of Cole Wilson. Then you got that number 29 of Richard Cherry on the high side. Big snake of cars, about maybe top 10, 11, 12, all single file in line. Further back there, it's not really a whole lot of fuel depth anymore because of what happened earlier in the race. And Jamie McKinney is still, actually I believe Jamie McKinney is DNF'd as well on lap 9. We have 5 cars already that were supposed to start this race, or in the session at least, out of the race. Here is Malone, crossover back to the inside lane. There on Matthew White. Side drafting him down the back straightaway, back into 3 and 4. Almost contact once again. Malone, he has been so good on the short run these last few weeks. Matthew White, of course, started from pole. They're side by side, racing down the front straightaway. Christian Leonard now past Braden Hunsicker for 3rd place. That 5 car is on an absolute roll. And Malone's going to fall back in the line as they come to lap 10. Once again, Jacob Malone trying to find some clean air on his nose. We got a side-by-side battle. Cameron Chandler driving his way through the field. Makes contact with Dylan Banks down the back straightaway. Joseph Tucker in line, currently running in 7th. Diego Rodriguez back there as well. I mean, it's early chaos in this race. That big wreck we saw on lap 3 already putting some interesting names inside of the top 10. Tucker gets behind Rodriguez. That's the pass for 7th place. Looking back here, Ashton Miller in the back number of Cole Wilson. Trenton Wilkin, he got damaged in that wreck, also trying to drive his way back up through the field. And for the lead around the outside, Jacob Malone going to take it from Matthew White. White's now going to be under pressure from the 5 of Christian Leonard. Battle currently for second place. So first lead change officially of the night in Michigan. Malone will take it. So here we go to the inside on Dylan Banks as Diego Rodriguez in that 23 car. Maybe pull back in line. You got Joseph Tucker, another ETR car, ripping his way around the outside. Rodriguez nearly made contact with him, 3 wide. Tucker around the top side. Banks now to the inside of his teammate, gets a little bit tight as they push their way down the backstretch yet again here in Michigan. White not giving up on Malone. Still trying to get to his bumper. Early days in Michigan, we've had a lot of chaos, though, so far. One caution flag. It was for the big one on the back straightaway that happened on lap 3. Takes out multiple cars, multiple top contenders as well. Here is Joseph Tucker ripping his way to the outside on the 77 of Braden Hunsaker and the 8 of Cameron Chandler. What a run he got around the outside lane, starting to find something. This is really, besides the Daytona 500, the furthest up Joseph Tucker and even Christian Leonard have run this season. An abysmal year for Tucker. No speed at all in the 52, but this week he is starting to pounce for third. Round the outside of Leonard. And he's to the bumper of Matthew White. Pushing him down to this front straightaway back into 1 and 2. And he now coming to the outside of the 7 car. Are we seeing maybe a bit of fuel saving, possibly some tire saving from the 7? We had that early caution flag. Oh, we got a car in the wall. That's Rodriguez almost wrecking down the back straightaway. Cheery makes contact with Ashton Miller. Rodriguez was way up the racetrack. He hit the wall, has damage. We'll see how severe it is. He's up the racetrack again ahead of Landon Johnson. And it looks like he's coming to pit road.
Yeah, it looked like pretty bad right front damage, maybe, when I went by him.
Yeah, that's unfortunately another car with damage and going to bring it to the pits. I mean, this race has just been absolute chaos early on, and he comes to pit road there as Rodriguez in the 23. Early on in Michigan, this one has not really been so calm. That is, if he retires, that's going to be 6 cars out of the race already. And he's getting 4 fresh Goodyear tires. We got a battle for the lead starting to heat up. Joseph Tucker on his teammate Jacob Malone. It's an ETR 1-2 currently here in Michigan. Here's Cole Wilson on the inside lane. Cherry ripping around the outside of him. That's a battle for 9th place. Got Trenton Wilkin currently running 11th. How about Landon Johnson inside of the top 10, or top 12, I should say, currently running in 12th?
Yeah, I restarted like 21st or something, like dead last.
Yeah, the 88 starting to rip his way through the field. Here is Joseph Tucker running the outside lane on his teammate Malone. Gonna have to try to find some momentum. We can also get a battle for 3rd place going on. Here's Cameron Chandler to the inside of Matthew White. Matthew White has been falling back early in this race as they will come to lap 17. It's the 7 who started on pole position. Big names that needed points tonight for regular season championship for Benton and the playoffs for Connor Asbell. They are going to both get 0 points today in Michigan with their DNFs. Battle. Christian Leonard now around the outside. He's going to be falling back to 7th. Got Dylan Banks involved. There's Cherry up this P6. Battle lower spots inside of the top 10. We got John Butler just going around to Ski Miller. The 88 of Landon Johnson. We got 3 Johnson Motorsports cars in line there. The 09 of Butler, the 88 of Johnson, and the 20 of Mark Prince. The other one running 17th, William Reagan. Ooh, nearly contact. Ashton Miller to the inside of Dylan Banks. Banks kind of took over Miller's ride, if you would say, at ETR. So kind of single file for most of the pack. So lap 19 in Michigan. Jacob Malone has about a 2/10-second lead over his teammate Joseph Tucker as they head back into 1 and 2. Tucker, this is by far the best race he's had so far in Michigan. Oh, we got a car up nearly to the wall. That's Cherry on the back straightaway, side by side with Braden Hunsick for P5. A good battle going on. Get back into 3 and 4. Car up the racetrack. More cars up the track. I believe that was Miller, possibly Dylan Banks. They battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Christian Leonard currently running in 7th. There's that 48 of Dylan Banks as well. Now to the outside, there is the 22 of Cole Wilson on the outside of Ashton Miller. They work their way down this back straightaway yet again. Battle up front, still about 2/10 of a second. Joseph Tucker trying to find that outside, maybe middle lane. Get a run on his teammate Jacob Malone down the front stretch. Riding along with Malone, here is Tucker. We'll see him through 1 and 2. Back there, we can see the battle with Cameron Chandler and Matthew White. Cheering up the racetrack once again, trying to make something happen. Let's listen to Tucker and hear his shifting. So he upshifts down the back straightaway. Let's listen to 3 and 4. Downshift, back and forth here. And he'll have a run coming down this front stretch yet again. Should upshift. Yes, he does. Here we go. Battle for position. Cameron Chandler to the inside of Matthew White. That is currently for 4th. Looking back in the field, we got a side-by-side battle. Wilkin ripping around the outside of Christian Leonard. Leonard going to fall back to 11th place. He's dropped multiple positions the last couple of laps. Here's Hunsicker. We now really see the track is starting to widen out. We see multiple lines being used. Straightaway yet again. We see 4 cars in the outside lane. White, Chandler, Cherry, and Hunsicker. Leaders are kind of running middle to the bottom. I would say the 2 leaders, the top 2 currently from ETR. Now we see Malone in the outside lane. Yeah, this track is definitely widening out. We've seen drivers choose different lines. Ooh, Tucker gets tight, I believe, up the racetrack will go. In the dirty air, that 45 of Malone. We will now have the 7 of Matthew White getting a run down this front straightaway. Tucker's going to lose maybe 2/10 from there. Malone is definitely known for the short runs. Can he change that stat tonight? Hunsicker up the track. He's got a run on Richard Cherry as they head down the back straightaway yet again. Ooh. Here is the 79 of Ashton Miller to the inside of Cole Wilson for 8th place. He'll take it away. There's Wilkin trying to rip around the outside, maybe for a bit of a comeback on that 22 of Cole Wilson. And Cole Wilson is coming to pit road already. He's really coming in quick. He'll smoke the tires. That's going to be probably speeding, if I had to imagine. An early pit stop. He also got Diego Rodriguez still back on the pits. He'll be rolling back off. He's currently 10 laps down. Early pit stop there for Cole Wilson. I'm kind of surprised by that. Maybe a bit of a strategy call. Sorry about that. You also got Cherry rolling down to the inside. He'll let Hunsicker go. Maybe pitting as well. So you're seeing some early pit stops possibly. Here's Matthew White to the inside of Joseph Tucker already. Tucker has lost a couple of tenths. Battle for 2nd place. Tucker around the outside. Cherry's going to actually stay out. Getting service is Cole Wilson. We'll go a lap down. Tucker currently able to hold on to 2nd place. Ooh, but he's definitely, you can see the back end of that 52 starting to come around. He's He's got Matthew White to maybe the inside. Big lunge down to the inside. Can't clear him off corner exit. They'll be side by side, side drafting each other down this front straightaway yet again. Wilson rolls back on the track. Right ahead of your leaders, way at the racetrack goes up Joseph Tucker. Once again, pulling down to the low side is Matthew White. And they'll be door to door down this back straightaway. Oh, Tucker trying to block him off. White maybe not going to be too happy with all of that. You got Cameron Chandler lined up in here. We know Joseph Tucker and Cameron Chandler really aren't the best of friends. So we'll see how that all goes. Big send up the racetrack. Almost a bit of a slide job. Tucker is not going to be pleased with that one on Matthew White. He's all over the back bumper of that 7 car. We'll see what he does through 3 and 4, 1 and 2, I should say. Oh, he's going to send him. White is sideways. Chandler is on the wall. He did not appreciate that whatsoever, and he let Matthew White know. White's going to fall in line ahead of his teammate Hunsicker. Man. We definitely could see that one coming. Matthew White made it a really, really aggressive send on Joseph Tucker to clear himself. And it almost ended in an accident. Tucker let him know he did not appreciate that. Now you got Cameron Chandler starting to catch the back of the bumper of that 52 car. Here he is on the low side. Tucker back around the outside lane, definitely wearing at his tires quicker. But we'll go real quick, go to Landon Johnson. So Landon, I know you pitted, but it was only about maybe like 3 or 4 laps in. What's the fuel situation looking like right now coming to lap 30?
My tires, they kind of wore out. So I'm just kind of trying to save gas so I can just stretch as far as I can, so.
But do
yeah. No, I got 17 laps left.
It's going to be close for you, but I think the leaders are definitely going to come with it. They're going to be maybe 4 laps shorter than that. As Cameron Chandler trying to work his way down to the inside on Tucker. 21 to go to the halfway break as they head down the backstretch yet again. Still pit stops coming before this half is over. The Chevrolet's battling here. 2nd through 6th, they're all from Team Chevy. In between 2 Toyotas, Malone and Banks from ETR. Chandler not going away on Joseph Tucker so easily. Tires do seem to matter though as the run continues. Big lunge to the inside on Cameron Chandler on Joseph Tucker. He'll be side by side with him. If he can actually keep it to the inside, he will not be able to. And he'll have to pull it back into line. Back into 1 and 2 they go. Just gonna lap car Cole Wilson, who pitted. He's actually losing some times to the leaders, so maybe tires don't matter as much as we thought. He definitely did take tires. Tucker once again to that outside lane. Battle for the lead is about a second between Jacob Malone and Joseph Tucker. Jacob Malone, the amount of laps he has led over these last 2 weeks has been insane with both Cup and Xfinity. Ooh, big block up to the racetrack on Cameron Chandler for Joseph Tucker. Took the air away from him. Your leader is now in some lap traffic with Cole Wilson. He's going to look to put him 2 laps down. He pitted. Andrew Stacy also, I think, just came down pit road. Green flag sight will start a little bit earlier for Wilson and crew. Really, the wall is Joseph Tucker. And we got big momentum for the 8 of Chandler. He will clear him off corner exit. Big send down to the inside. Back of the line, though, goes Joseph Tucker. See if Chandler can start to run down the 45 and Yeah, Malone not really getting help by Cole Wilson here. And he is starting to race him hard. Malone nearly in the wall. Here is Matthew White to the inside. The last time these two were together, really didn't end so well. Ooh, Matthew White pulls back in line on Joseph Tucker to 3 and 4. Will any more yet retaliation be coming for Matthew White? White got him once, Tucker got him once. Will be a third time, or have they settled it? Malone is now cleared Cole Wilson for the most part. Here's Hunsicker trying to get around the outside. You got Cherry. There is this whole thing with Tucker in the way is kind of bringing the field closer and closer together. Top 10 within 3 seconds of the leader, and 2 seconds within second to 10th. White back to the inside lane. Big send once again on Joseph Tucker. Won't be able to get there. He's got the 77 Hunsicker. That's his teammate. He's actually going to push him along. Actually gave him some damage, I believe, on the 77. Big run down the front straightaway. Where's Matthew White going to take it? He'll actually be able to have to stay in line. 1 and 2. Now around the outside, his teamwork is over, maybe. Here comes Braden Hunsicker on Matthew White. And he'll pull back in line. New driver in 4th, Hunsicker will now go to work on Joseph Tucker as he moves down to the inside lane. Big sends. Can he clear him off corner exit? He will, but momentum coming. Will he be able to make a crossover? I don't think it's going to happen. Now into 3rd place is Braden Hunsicker. Joseph Tucker falls to P4. Here is Matthew White under attack from Richard Cherry. White on the wall slightly. As they head down the back straightaway, that's going to check up some momentum. Chandler is slow in the back straightaway for some reason. Let's Hunsicker go.
He could be low on fuel then.
Look at Dylan Banks around Richard Cherry. Now you got Wilkin to the inside of that 29 car. Racing starting to heat up in Michigan. Wilkin is there on Cherry. He's down to the low side, side drafting him down the front straightaway and back into 1 and 2. Follow his teammate Dylan Banks in line. You got Joseph Tucker now in the bumper of that number 8 of Chandler. And Malone still with the race lead, but about 2nd to 10th, all bunched up down the back straightaway. We may see cars start to come to pit road shortly. Ooh, Banks has a run on Matthew White. He's going to get to his bumper. These two, of course, battled at the championship last season. What a battle they had there. And your defending series champion on the back bumper pushing your season 1 champion, Matthew White, down the front straightaway and back into 1 and 2. Wilkins going to go around the outside. On the wall goes the 12. When will we see your leaders start to come to pit road? That's the question. Banks to the inside, coming to lap 40 this time by. That's only 11 to go to the halfway break. Gotta be running low on fuel now. And, ooh, Hunsicker gonna pull out a line to lap Cole Wilson. Chandler now in the line as well. Still at about 8, 9, 10 seconds. We got a car spinning on the back straightaway. That's Eli Tomlin around. Another car spinning. That's Logan Giesbrett. Let's see if they get him fired up. They're out of the way of the leaders. These are our teammates. And they're fired up and going once more. I don't know what happens. They're once again rolling. Here is Banks, Tucker, and Wilkin, 3 ETR regulars, full time in the Cup Series, down the front straightaway. Banks back to the inside of Tucker. He's going to clear him off corner exit. Tucker maybe just going to let his teammates go. Will not let Wilkin go. We'll see how they race down this back straightaway. Oh, yeah. Now Matthew White to the outside of Trenton Wilkin. Battle for 6th place going on door to door. Tucker kind of pulling through the middle. White's going to drive around the outside of both of them. We get cars pitting. Multiple leaders pitting. Our leaders on pit road. You got 4 ETR cars pitting. So the Ethan Trendler Racing cars, that looked like a bit quick for Trenton Wilson. You also got a Johnson Motorsports car in that alliance coming to pit road as well. I got Sam Ramon in the 99 pitting. 2 other Johnson, one from Fortner and one from Johnson Motorsports going to stay out. He's written Tomlin. They had damage there on pit road as well. So first of the leaders to pit, all from Ethan Trendler Racing and Johnson Motorsports. Oh, missing his pit stall is the 12 of Wilkin. I think the 48 of Bankside bit of an issue. It's going to be, I think, fuel only for Jacob Malone. He's going to be off pit road first. And a fuel only, I believe, for these guys as well. That cycles the lead to Braden Hunsicker. So not taking fresh tires as they roll back on track. They're going to be steaming around the outside of John Butler. Actually, I don't think they're even going to get there. Maybe Hunsicker might be able to just get there. No, he will not. And Tucker's going to, or I should say Butler's going to give him some dirty air. I think this is when Hunsicker might need just force his hand to pit road, and he will. His teammate Matthew White will stay out. And Braden Hunsicker are going to come to pit road all by himself. That's actually not something you really want to do because you're going to be without the draft. I know it's not really Daytona or Talladega. It doesn't matter as much, but still kind of important, to say the least. Here they go. They can run hard. Malone, Tucker, Banks, Wilkin to the ends. Don't think they took tires. We do get 3 sets of tires on pit road this week, so you're not really limited too much as Braden Hunsicker. It is going to be fuel only for him. And they're starting to pass each other for whatever reason. Don't know why they're racing so hard. I would assume they would have just maybe stayed in line. They're all teammates from Ethan Trendler Racing. Tucker up the racetrack, Wilkin to the middle. They're definitely losing time from this. There's the 09 of Butler behind. There is the 8 of Chandler. Probably the next one to come to pit road. You got Matthew White, I believe, pitting. He's on the pits. Same thing with Ashton Miller, Richard Cheery, Eli Tomlin in the pits. Malone, he's got Hunsicker on his bumper. This, I think, is for position. I think for the overall lead, they're going to be side by side. Down the front straightaway, Hunsicker will take it from Jacob Malone. This is, I believe, what will be the lead of the race. That is big. Malone looking back to the inside, though, not trying to give up. Heard somebody coasting. Don't know who it was. They're side by side still. Once again, down this back straightaway. Hunsicker is going to let him go for the moment, and Malone's going to take the spot back. We're looking here. Still car pitting. There's Reagan still staying out. Oh, Johnson is loose off the apron. Leonard's staying out. Same thing with Mark Prince. And here comes your leader, Cameron Chandler pitting. 5 to go till the halfway point. Pit road closes with 2 to go. Oh, Stacy in the wall ahead of Rodriguez there. That's going to be a bit of contact. And now this will be for what would be the lead. I do hear somebody coasting. Quite sure who it is. Is it the 38 of William Reagan? It might be. And Leonard and Mark Prince going to pit. Let's listen with Reagan for a minute. He will assume the lead from this. Oh yeah, he's coasting. He's trying to make it. Can he do it? Your leader about 10 seconds back. Chandler's going to roll off pit road. Here's your leader's Malone. Going to easily drive around him. You got the 77 of Hunsicker as well. We'll come around the outside to pass Chandler for position. Reagan's got about a 10-second lead. Hunsicker weaving down the back straightaway. Reagan's got about a 10-second lead. Is he going to be able to coast it? We're coming to 3 to go this time by. I mean, this would be massive for William Reagan. He entered this race below the playoff cut line. He would love 10 stage points here. Oh, Braden Hunsicker is pitting. He's back on pit road for the 77, I believe, might have a penalty. That is big. Early in the race, it's not going to be detrimental, but that is still big. He's going to probably score no stage points from that. That is not what he wanted to see. Battle now what would be now for second. What is Andrew Stacy doing? He's completely sideways. Look, William Reagan still trying to save. Battle for second. Round the outside, Cameron Chandler and Jacob Malone. Malone going to try to clear up on the 8. But Chandler going to pull back to the inside or coming back to, this is 2 to go this time by to the stage. Can William Reagan make it? He's not losing enough time. But I don't know if he's going to have enough gaps to make it to the end. He's trying to get a stage win, 10 points, and a playoff point. Pit road is closed. William Reagan's trying to make it to the end. It's coming back to 1 to go in the stage this time by. Chandler and Malone now battling for second. Reagan's going to take the white flag in the stage this time. There is Hunsaker. He's going to be a lap down now because Reagan hasn't pitted. Here is William Reagan trying to coast his way to the end. I mean, what a story it would be if he could actually do that. Chandler once again now around the outside of Andrew Stacey. Battle still about 6 seconds for the lead, and Malone going to hit the wall. Also got a battle for position. Matthew White, Richard Cherry, Dylan Banks. This is hard fought down the back straightaway for about 4th, 5th, and 6th. William Reagan is on the bottom on fumes trying to make it to the green and white checker flag. Going to be a first career stage win for William Reagan. What a strategy call. Second, going to be Chandler. Third, Malone. 4th, White. 5th. Battle for position, I believe. Wilkin got it on Cherry, and the caution will come out. All right, I think he just came up short. Cherry 6th, Wilkin 7th, Miller 8th, Tucker 9th, Butler, final stage point, rounds out your top 10. Massive, massive points, though, for William Reagan. That is absolutely impressive and absolutely huge for the driver of the 36. I don't know if he's out of fuel or not. I mean, he was out of fuel
right at the line.
So he's going to need, he's going to have to coast here to pit road. This is going to be very interesting. I didn't think anyone had a shot at making it. I don't know if he pitted or not. Yeah, the leader's going to drive around to him. This is going to kill his restart, though. But it's 10 stage points and a stage victory for William Reagan. Leaders aren't going to pit just yet. Cameron Chandler, I think, will assume the lead. He's going to have to come to the road immediately when it's closed, so we'll have to restart tail end of the longest line anyways. But, man, that was very, very interesting as Reagan will come to the pits. Picks up his first career stage victory tonight in Michigan. So, Landon, your driver, William Reagan, first stage win. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that he saved enough fuel and got there. If he was going to be short coming out of 3 and 4, I was going to push him, but he didn't need it.
Because they're going to be waiting in the pace car, I believe. I don't know where the pace car is. There he is. I think because Reagan pitted, it's going to mess up kind of a bunch of the scoring stuff here. They're rolling at like 5 miles an hour down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I got to wait on. I'm lucky dog, so I got to wait.
All right, so it's going to be interesting to see who gets their lap back. I don't think, correct me, I think Braden Hunsaker is on the lead lap because he did get around Reagan. He got saved there. He would have, if he didn't get the free pass there, he would have been trapped a lap down. All right, we're going to see cars coming up pit road this time by. Reagan is getting fuel and tires. You should be rolling off shortly, your stage winner. And now your leaders coming to the pits. Here they come. Pit road going to be a busy, busy place here in Michigan. All of your leaders coming up pit road at the halfway break. So, of course, very interesting there. Of course, we had the big one on lap 3, and then no other cautions to the end. And that whole fuel strategy game brings William Reagan his first ever stage win. Eli Tomlin rolling off pit road first. But for positions, it's going to be Jacob Malone, I believe. Drag racing Matthew White. I think Chandler might get second. It's going to be maybe third. No, it's going to be third for the 7 of White, 4th for Banks, 5th for Wilkin as they all roll off behind him. And Jacob Malone going to take the lead off the pit stop. Very good stop for him. We're under the halfway break. We'll be right back in about 30 seconds coming to the choose this time by. All right, coming to the choose. They got some lap cars ahead of them. And they will choose inside, outside. Malone is going to be on the bottom. We saw Matthew White for the initial first restart of the night actually choose the outside. Now you're going to see Malone in the bottom of the racetrack. Going to be interesting here. So, will we see what we saw in the start of the race, or will we see what we saw after the start of the race where there was no cautions at all? All right, rolling their way down the back straightaway. Got to be restarting on lap 55. Will be over halfway here in Michigan. Been an interesting race, of course. Okay. Jacob Malone, Cameron Chandler on the front row. Of course, our initial wreck took out big contenders. Biggest names being Bryce Benson and Connor Asbell. Scoring 0 points tonight in Michigan. Be interesting to see how the points all shape up after tonight. Pace car comes back to pit road. Ready to be back underway with 46 laps to go, over halfway from Michigan through the Geico restarts, or not even Geico anymore, the restart zone they go. Once again, we're back underway. Chandler falls back in line ahead of the 48 of Banks. Banks going to pull down to the inside of the 8 machine. You got Malone working in front of them. Joseph Tucker moving in the middle. Almost up the racetrack is Matthew White. Got big send there, Wilkin, as they head down the back straightaway. Car on the wall, that's Landon Johnson.
And I got damage, of course.
That's going to be tough for the driver of the 88. Fall back to the rear of the pack, I believe. Here is Tucker around the outside. He's got his teammate Wilkin with him. Wilkin, Tucker nearly makes contact with White as they head down the front straightaway yet again. Side by side. Almost door slamming each other. These two had big moments early in the race. Hunsaker's pushing his teammate the 7 as they head back into 1 and 2. And then maybe Johnson pitting, maybe for the lead. Chandler and Malone. Oh, car to the wall. It's the 22 Wilson. They're wrecking on the back straightaway. Multiple cars go around. The caution will come out. Cole Wilson is destroyed. Andrew Stacy's got damage. Mark Prince got a bit of a piece of it, and the caution flag is out for the 3rd time tonight. Second for cause. Actually, that wasn't Mark Prince. Sorry, that was actually Logan Giesbrecht.
He needed that.
That's going to actually be a break for Landon. Let's take a look at what happens. So we're actually at the wrong car. Oh, that looked weird. It almost looked like a tire failure somehow for Cole Wilson.
You never know about Cole Wilson.
Oh, I think his wheel disconnected. That's definitely what happened there. And he completely goes straight up into the wall. Nothing he could have done. Collects the others behind him. Luckily, really wasn't at the front of the field, so nobody, nothing really. It could have been a whole lot worse. If that's what I'm trying to say. Riding along with Giesbrecht. Yeah, just gone on Cole Wilson. Nothing he could have done. Will destroy the 22. What a great save by Giesbrecht. Man, get that thing going in the right direction somehow. And Cole Wilson is going to obviously retire. That'll be a day over for the driver of the 22. All right. Now, who pits? Can you make it to the end? Everyone's coming. Here we go on pit road. We got a couple staying out, but I believe they're lap down cars. I mean, can you make it to the end here? This is going to be close. Caution flag at a very awkward time.
I don't know. That is...
Oh, Chandler slides through his pit stall. Big slide. Malone is pretty much perfect. Same thing with Hunsaker. That's going to be positions lost. Fuel only for the 45s. That's going to be second off pit road for Banks. Third for White. Fourth going to be the 77. And all the way back to 7th is going to be Cameron Chandler. That was a big, just a real quick splash of gas for Malone and Banks there. And they're going to come off 1-2. Or staying out, unlapping themselves or whatever.
Yeah, with caution laps, I believe everybody will be able to make it to the end.
Yeah, it's still going to be a little bit close, though. Rodriguez pitting this. Johnson currently on pit road. Same thing with Andrew Stacy. Johnson Stacy currently 1 lap down. They're going to need some yellow flags if they want to get back into this thing. Rolling under the yellow flag. 3rd caution of the day in Michigan. This one's been an interesting one so far. We're over halfway from the Irish Hills. All right, so lap down cars will pass the pace car this time by. We're going to have your leaders come to choose. We'll see if Malone goes to the inside, but we did see Matthew White that one time choose the outside. Malone's, yeah, obviously going to choose the inside. His teammate, Dylan Banks, will go with him. And then on the bottom, going to be Joseph Tucker, going to get the front row to Matthew White. It'll be an all ETR 1, 2, 3 on the bottom of the racetrack. It's going to be Highline Motorsports lining up 1, 2 on the outside. Zane Rahman actually stayed out. He was on the lead lap. And he'll actually be restarting ahead of White and the 77. Rahman actually chose the top. I thought he was just a lap down car. Go to unlap himself, but apparently he is not. Cole Wilson now in the booth. So Cole, what happened there to end your day?
That was the worst netcode I've ever seen in a NASCAR Next Gen. So Zayn has been blinking the whole race, and I pulled up alongside of him, and on my screen, he just completely came up the track and killed me. But on the replay, he held his line the whole time, and it was just horrible netcode, and I couldn't do anything. And then I collected a few others, so that sucks, but it was really bad.
Yeah, I honestly thought like your wheel disconnected or something. That's what that looked like.
No, nothing there. Just some of the worst netcode. It's the only real issue with iRacing, but it sucks. And then our day wasn't great before that, but that just cherry on top.
Yeah, unfortunate for Daytona 500 champion Cole Wilson, as he will go to the Xfinity Series next week in Rockingham now. Coming back to the restart zone, this time back underway in Michigan. 41 laps to go. Starting to come to the end of this one. Rahman, of course, old tires or lower fuel, and staying out on the outside lane. He's been slower all day long. Outside of the top 10, top 20 all day long. To the outside he goes. He'll be passed by Malone. You got Banks at the bottom. Oh, that 99 is way up the racetrack ahead of Matthew White as they head down the back straightaway. Banks is clear. Now Matthew White trying to get clear on him as they head back into 3 and 4. Banks round the outside in that 48. Ooh, getting tight back here. Oh, Tucker nearly made contact with Cameron Chandler. Duran hit the wall slightly. Will fall back to maybe 6. Chandler drops in front of him just like that. White's the 3rd, Banks the 2nd, Malone your leader. Back into 1 and 2 they go at Michigan. Of course, a manufacturer's race to win tonight. Manufacturer's pride. You get the manufacturer's trophy as well. Ford, Chevrolet, and Toyota all going for it. Currently a Toyota 1 and 2. Chevrolet currently running in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Currently in P10, first Ford Mustang of John Butler. Run down the front straightaway. Banks the bumper of his teammate Jacob Malone. Cameron Chandler lined up there as well. All 3 of them pushing each other down the front straightaway. Could a bit of fuel saving be coming? But now around the outside, he is really ripping it. Cameron Chandler gets around Malone. Or I should say Banks now trying to get around Malone. What a run. He'll clear him. New leader, Cameron Chandler. It looks like they just let him by. Maybe trying to pull a bit of a fuel save game. We'll have to watch. Because they were working together, I should say, to push each other. But Chandler will just drive off with the race lead now. Joseph Tucker on the bottom of the racetrack. Christian Leonard up there as well. They're a snake on their way down the front straightaway yet again. Khan still holding his own inside of the top 10. Kind of impressive. Wilkin around the outside. There's Leonard in the middle. Ashton Miller up there. Oh, Rahman is sideways. He will keep it going in the right direction. That thing was completely loose. Luckily, he didn't overcorrect into the field. There is Hunsaker in the middle. Ashton Miller up the track. 3 wide. There's the 12 of Wilkin. He'll get around Hunsaker, and Tristan Leonard's going to get around the 77 as well. Big send back to the inside, though, on him as they roll door to door. Malone is back at the pace. He's starting to catch Chandler again for the lead. Ooh, Hunsaker trying to slide up ahead of Joseph Tucker. Oh, car in the wall. That's your stage winner, William Reagan, with his teammate, John Butler. Big send on the inside. Leonard will clear Ashton Miller. Thanks. He's got his teammate Wilkin. He got 3 ETR Toyotas lined up there. Second, third, and fourth. They got Matthew White and Christian Leonard. Ashton Miller, Joseph Tucker, Braden Hunsaker, Richard Cherry trying to get your top 10. Here we go. Leonard around the outside of Matthew White. Battle for 5th place. Leonard going to clear him inside of the top 5 for the driver of the 5. And he's now pulling to the outside of his affiliated teammate, Trenton Wilkin. Leonard not really looking like he's saving. I think Banks, Wilkin, Malone, maybe even Chandler at this point, they're all trying to save Leonard. Not saving whatsoever. He's pulling now to the inside of Banks for 3rd. And he's going to clear him. Miller, I don't think he's saving as well. Same thing with Matthew White. He's on the bottom. Tucker there through the middle, currently 8th. This is going to be a whole fuel save game, possibly to the end. Going to have to manage your tires as well. Going to be interesting, especially if you don't get any more caution flags. Wilkin to the bumper of Banks. That's his teammate, and he's going to push him down this front straightaway, and they're going to maybe to the bumper of the 5 of Leonard. Here's Wilkin to the outside of Dylan Banks. And he will clear him. They're going to actually swap positions. Now you got Malone with pressure from Leonard on his bumper. That 5 car driving his way back through the field. We just saw this earlier on in the race in the first half for Christian Leonard. He drove his way up inside of the top 5. Then he fell back all the way back to 14th later in the run. So short run speed is there on the 5 car. How much will it go away on the longer run? Banks falls back to 6th. Tucker just got around him. These ETR cars have been around each other all day long. Malone, Wilkin, Tucker, and Banks. They've been all inside of the top 5, top 10 all day long as well. Wilkin's starting to come around the outside lane. Oh, Malone on the bumper of Cameron Chandler. He's trying to get that 8 car maybe moving around a bit. Big run coming for Christian Leonard around the outside. He may have momentum. Where will he take it? He's going to get to the bumper of that 45 machine of Malone and push him down into 1 and 2. Malone, he is there. He's on the bumper of that 8 car of Chandler. Oh, but he gets tight up the racetrack. Some dirty air not helping him. 32 to go in Michigan. Here comes Malone. Almost got to the outside of the 8 car. Wilkin now may be able to pounce on him. They're side by side. Joseph Tucker coming around the outside of Christian Leonard. Wilkin gonna push his teammate Malone. Where will they go? They're trying to work that high side. They are there for the race lead. Malone gonna just drive around Cameron Chandler and take it. He's clear off corner exit. Back to the lead is Jacob Malone. Now you got Wilkin there. Same thing with Tucker. They're going to freight train him on the outside lane. 3 teammates on Cameron Chandler. Malone, your new leader. Of course, like I mentioned, he has led the most laps tonight. trying to end up in victory lane for the first time in his career. He's had so many of these races where he leads a ton of laps and never actually ends up winning.
He's kind of like a William Byron.
Yeah, but I would say even more like extreme than Byron. At least Byron wins sometimes. Malone
Yeah,
is
but
never.
Not this season though. 2025 Byron.
Yeah. I mean, Malone has literally never won in the Cup Series. Looking for his first ever win. And they have under 30 laps to go in Michigan. 29 remaining. This thing is still wide open like it was last week in Chicagoland. We do not know who's going to go to victory lane. Got to be a favorite, Jacob Malone. He's looked, honestly, a lot better on the long run tonight than I would have expected. He's looked good on the short run, good on the long run, good medium. He's looked good all around. And he's been the dominant car for the most part of the day. That's a slide by Trent Wilkin ahead of his teammate Joseph Tucker. That 8 car of Cameron Chandler not giving up yet as well. We look at Hunsaker in white, 9th, 10th. Are they saving anything? We'll have to see what goes on there. See if they can drive their way through the field once again. Here's Joseph Tucker running the bottom. I would assume he would just stay in line with his teammate, Trenton Wilkin. But then they got Chandler on the bumper of them. Can they afford to really do that? Jacob Malone currently leading in Michigan. Let's go through the field a bit here for Michigan. Of course, your leader, Jacob Malone, he has led the most laps so far tonight in that Toyota. Second, currently, Trenton Wilkin. He was involved in that big one on lap 3. He's really had a nice recovery. Currently running in second. Then you got Joseph Tucker. He's probably the best day of his season so far. Currently runs third. He's had good speed tonight. Currently fourth, Cameron Chandler. Another driver with good speed. Also got involved in that big one on lap 3. Really didn't get any damage though, so that didn't affect him too much. They're up the racetrack. Tucker ahead of that 8 car of Chandler. Oh, Chandler going to be aggressively to the inside of him. Will be maybe sliding around a bit as they head side by side down the back straightaway for third place. And I'll pull back in line. Coming back to 25 to the go in Michigan this time by. This one far from over. Wilkin running the bottom of the racetrack. He's another driver looking for that first victory. I mean, he hasn't been as close as Jacob Malone has been, but still, he has been close. Tucker now around the outside lane. I mean, this is really the only race this season I've seen, besides the Daytona 500, that Joseph Tucker has had anywhere near top 10 pace. Wilkin, big run on Andrew Stacy. That lap car very slow down the front straightaway. Here's Tucker. He's up the racetrack slightly. Cameron Chandler trying to diamond it down. Trying to get to the inside of that 52. Looking back here, Christian Leonard still holding currently in 5th. Got Dylan Banks, Ashton Miller 6th and 7th. Cherry 8th, White 9th, Butler currently 10th. Richard Cherry do. He won the Xfinity Series race last night. 8th right now. Miller is actually starting to help along Dylan Banks. 3 wide. Here is Hunsaker to the inside of John Butler and that lap car. We got a battle for the lead. Maybe starting to heat up. Wilkin on the bumper of his teammate. Jacob Malone. Is the handling beginning to go away on that 45 car? Turns 3 and 4, they will go yet again. Here's Tucker still ahead of that 8 of Chandler. Chandler needs a big day on Matthew White to gain more points for the regular season championship. minus 44 from the points lead tonight. White currently running in 9th, but does that 7 have anything left in the tank? Chandler needs to continue to march his way up to the field to make sure that gap does not close back in. Malone's been kind of running a bit of a lower line than Wilkin. Here is Banks getting passed from Ashton Miller. That's a battle for 6th place. Miller now inside of the top 6, the hometown driver. What a day would be if he could get his first career victory tonight. He would love to do that in the Irish Hills as an Xfinity Series win here in Season 2. One, two, three from Ethan Trendler Racing. They have been so close to so many wins this season. They've got multiple top 3 finishes. Still haven't visited victory lane since Season 1 at Dover. I mean, that's over a year and a half, calendar year ago. It has been so long for the boys at ETR. They've had a strong day so far tonight, and they're running 1, 2, 3. Malone, Wilkin, and Tucker. Wilkin, the bumper of that 45, and Malone back into 1 and 2. 20 laps to go from Michigan. This one is not over, though. You gotta still keep on watching. Stay in your seats. Here is Cherry to the inside of Dylan Banks. That 48 is beginning to maybe fall back. Battle for 7th place. Does Matthew White have any pace left in it? Same thing with Braden Hunsicker. What do they have left? Wilkin has been just staying on the bumper of his teammate Jacob Malone. They know they can't really race each other because they do have some drivers behind them trying to build runs as well. This is kind of a whole strategy game. You got teammates working together. This is going to be an interesting final 19 laps in Michigan. Because watch, White and Hunsicker, they're working together. Same thing with Malone and Wilkin to try to keep the lead. But as the run continues to go on, how much more can the 45 take? We know he has struggled on the long runs in his career. Here is Chandler maybe to the inside of Justin Tucker for a second, for 3rd. Toyota looking for their first Cup victory since season number 3 at Atlanta. Riccio Turbin went to victory lane. That was over 25 races ago. Nearly 30 at this point. 17 laps remaining in Michigan. Look at this. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 2-car tandems. And they are kind of pushing each other, especially for these top 2. White and Hunsicker Cherry now falling through the field. He's back to 11th. Not sure what's going on with 29. Butler now the back bumper of that 77. John Butler currently having a solid, quiet day in 10th. What he needs to do is try to make the playoffs for the 2nd time in his career. Here we go. Possibly a battle for 3rd. Chandler's been on the bumper of that 52 of Tucker for a while now, and he's finally maybe to the outside. Can't get there just yet. Gonna have to stay in line down this backstretch. Tucker has been doing everything he can to defend, but how much longer can he do that? Chandler, big sends back to the bottom. And he's there on Joseph Tucker. Can't keep it to the inside. Has to fall back in line. 15 to go. Riding along with Cameron Chandler. He tries to reel in Tucker. Is he shifting? And what is the fuel situation looking like as well? do they all have enough to make it? They had a bit of a splash with about on lap, maybe lap 58, about 8 laps into the second half. Is that enough to make it to the end? We'll have to wait and see. Coming up 14 to go this time by. Chandler still trying to find some clean air on his nose behind that number 52 of Joseph Tucker. Sorry about that. Anyways, battle for position. Here we go, side by side. Dylan Banks is beginning to find his long run momentum to now get around Christian Leonard. This is for 6th. And here is Chandler now to the inside of Tucker. For 3rd place, side drafting each other down the front straightaway. Oh, Tucker gonna run him down. He's gonna have to try to keep it on the outside there. They're gonna almost make contact. It looked like for a second they were trying to do something. Chandler a big send into the 1 and 2. He's gonna maybe slide up the racetrack. Momentum coming. Oh, but Tucker's in the wall. That's gonna kill everything for him. White just got around the 5 of Leonard. Now Dylan Banks starting to run down Ashton Miller. Your top 2 still about a second ahead of Chandler. They're on each other's bumpers. But how much more can they just maybe keep each other like stable like this? Will they begin the race, and will Chandler be able to close the gap? Here is Dylan Banks on Ashton Miller, the hometown driver, for 5th. You also got the 7 of Matthew White. Braden Hunsicker trying to make his way through the field. Leonard falling back. John Butler to the inside of the 77. How about him? Battle for 9th. Banks in the middle. Miller up there. Banks and White has been... Oh, we got a car loose. Hunsiker's in the wall hard. And he's going to keep it going, but he got damage. And he's going to fall to 12, possibly 13th. That was a big shot into the fence for Braden Hunsiker. And now, as Banks can't really do anything on the 79 of Miller, he's got White coming with momentum as they head down the back straightaway. Coming back around to 10 to go. This time by in Michigan, here's Matthew White. Banks has been stuck behind that 79 car. Banks, you're going to try to clear him off quarter exit. White got very tight. Had to lift, I believe.
We got a car sitting in the middle of turn 1 and 2. That might want to be a caution.
What is he? Are you kidding me? We're just going to get rid of him.
There's about 5 cars smoking him.
What was... I don't understand what Mark Prince was doing. Caution is out. 10 laps to go. This changes everything. What happened? Oh, Cheery just straight up dumps it hard into the... Oh, that's a massive shot by the 20 of Mark Prince.
Yeah, they're arguing over the radio.
I don't really understand what happened there. And, of course, that will change everything. He just dumped it. That was pretty uncalled for by Cheery. I don't really understand what he was doing there. Late in the race, what are we doing? Back in the pack. That will bring out the yellow flag with 9 to go here in Michigan. Of course, like I mentioned, changes everything. I don't think Cheery was on the gas, or I should say, the 20 of Prince was on the brakes any earlier. It just looks like Cheery just straight up ran through him. From my angle, but we'll have to take a look later on. Here we go! Pit stops, 9 to go. This is the money stop. Caution comes out. This is the 4th caution of the night. We do not see any lead lap cars stay out. Will we see drivers take tires, though? That's going to be the big question. I think I would take tires if I was in this race car right now, in one of these race cars right now. I think I would take tires. Here they come. money stop. Gonna be
I'm
a
back
short.
on the lead lap.
Gonna be a short run to the end. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, looks like.
I just got my goal, top 10.
Here we go. Gonna be a battle off pit road. I think it's gonna be easily Malone first, second Chandler, third Miller, fourth is gonna be Banks, fifth gonna be White, Tucker sixth, seventh. How about falling all the way back to P7? What happened to Trent and Wilkin? Eighth gonna be Hunsaker, ninth Butler, 10th Reagan off pit road. And that is a caution flag that changes absolutely everything. But the 45 of Malone still able to hold on to the lead. It's going to be an insane battle, though, with him and Cameron Chandler to the end. Who is going to go to victory lane tonight? We will find out. And how will this choose cone look? This is going to be very, very interesting, especially at this choose. Caution comes out, long run. And here we go. I mean, I didn't really even expect that caution. But of course, looks like Prince and Cheery beefing for whatever reason. They wreck each other for God knows why. Here we go, choose! Inside, Hunsaker, Malone, outside, Chandler and Miller, and it's gonna be 4 ETR cars lined up on the bottom. Then he got Chandler, Showtime Motorsports' Ashton Miller, and Highline Motorsports' Matthew White on the outside lane. So all 4 ETR cars on the bottom of the racetrack here. How will this go with those teammates? Buckle up. Going to be restarting with 6 laps to go in Michigan. This is going to be full throttle to the end. No more saving now. That's out the window. I mean, this is going to be it. Who's going to take the checkered flag first from Michigan? Late caution flag comes out after a long green flag run. This should be chaotic. Who will come out on top?
Caution?
Honestly, no. I don't see them wrecking here. But that could be wrong.
Now just curse.
Yeah, I don't exactly have the best history with that, so we'll see. All right, late caution flag in Michigan bunches the field back up. Malone is dominated tonight. He has led the most laps. We got 4 cars from the same team, ETR, lined up on the bottom. How is that going to work out? Pace car back down pit road. 6 laps to go from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Time to finish this one off. Good restart on the bottom by Malone. Dylan Banks on his bumper. Tucker, Wilkin, Butler all lined up on the inside. Banks going to try to get clear for second place. He is clear on Cameron Chandler. There's Tucker as well. But Chandler trying to work around the outside lane. Banks sends it down in there, slide drop in front of him, and will clear for second place. So they work their way down the back straightaway into 3 and 4 yet again. Here is Chandler to the outside lane. Banks, though, ooh, they squeeze each other. Tucker almost to the corner penalty, gets sideways. Got Miller there, coming to 5 to go. Banks, big run to the bumper of Malone. As they head back into 1 and 2. Banks now, he's going to be maybe split 3 wide. Just for a split second. Banks will clear Chandler once again. He's in the wall. They bounce each other off the wall. Here is Chandler now to the inside of that 48 car. Big mistake, and Chandler might get second place. He will. Banks, though, not giving up. Chandler going to slide back up the racetrack. Banks going to have momentum. Where is he going to take it? 4 laps to go. Dylan Banks, he gets blocked by Chandler. Chandler now, round the outside of Malone. Trying to take the lead away. Once again, down the back straightaway, 3.5 laps remain in Michigan. Malone doing everything he can to defend, but Chandler is coming. He is there on the outside lane. It looks like he got tight. And here comes Dylan Banks. He's got momentum. They swerve and slide down the front straightaway. Everybody trying to break the draft. 3 to go. Back down into 1 and 2. Oh, Malone gets some dirty air packed to the nose of the 8. Got a car almost crashing Cherry in the wall. I think they all kept it going. Here is Banks to the inside of Chandler, trying to get there at least. Chandler lighting up the racetrack big time. He's going to have the 48 to his inside. 2 to go. Battle for second place. Where's Wilkin going to go? Banks in the bottom of the racetrack. Chandler back on the outside. Banks going to really lunge it down in there. Just try to slide up in front of the 8. And he is clear for second place. What kind of momentum is the 8 car going to be able to bring? Lap and a half remains. Through turns 3 and 4, you got that 12 of Wilkin up the racetrack once again. They're going to see the white flag, this time by 1 to go from the Irish Hills. Final lap in Michigan. Battle for the win between possibly Malone, Banks, and Chandler through 1 and 2 for the final time. What kind of run is that 48 of Banks going to be able to set up? Final time down the back straightaway. Through 3 and 4 they go. Banks going to try to do something. Maybe he's going to have one final push at it. As they head off turn number 4, coming to the checkered flag. It's not going to happen. First career win, finally, for Jacob Malone. It's an ETR 1-2. Second for Banks, third Chandler, fourth Wilkin, Matthew White rounds out your top 5. But it has finally happened. Career win, number 1 for Jacob Malone in the 45. He gets it done in Michigan. And ETR back in victory lane for the first time since season number 1. Jacob Malone has finally done it. This man has been so close, so many times, has led so many laps, but my goodness, it's finally his time. Banks comes home second place. Oh, Wilkin to the wall. Still got a top 5 finish, should propel him closer to the playoffs. What a day for Jacob Malone. He has done it. Your winner in Michigan.
I got it too, Ethan. That's my former driver. I put him in the
know.
ETR pipeline. Put him in the ETR pipeline.
Yeah, Johnson Motorsports has a former, like I guess you'd say, developmental driver go to victory lane in the Cup Series, and that's what we planned for. And I'm happy it's coming into fruition. It's ETR's, of course, first win since season 1, and all the ETR cars burning it down. This is special. Jacob Malone wins Michigan. Tomlin gets destroyed by Andrew Stacy on the cooldown lap. What a day. Jacob Malone, if we can actually find him. I don't know if he went to victory lane or not. Oh, there he is.
He's rolling backwards though, yeah.
Yep. Rolling backwards the victory lane. Here in Michigan, your winner. What a job. Well done by the 45. Dominated tonight, led the most laps, and he will end up with a win. What a job. What a day. Jacob Malone, finally a winner in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. 2 weeks in a row, two first-time winners. And that will do it here tonight. Jacob Malone will become your 8th Cup Series winner this season through 10 races. All right, that'll do it here in Michigan. Jacob Malone, first career win, ETR 1-2, with Dylan Banks coming home in second place. Post-race interviews coming up, though, from the Michigan International Speedway. We hope you enjoyed that one. What a day in Michigan. Overall, very, very entertaining race, I would have to say so myself. And what a day from Michigan. Post-race interviews are coming up from the Michigan International Speedway. All right. As we welcome you live to the Michigan post-race show here from Michigan. Race number 10 is done in the Cup Series, the final race before the All-Star break. Jacob Malone, your winner. First career win for him. We're going to have him coming up for an interview. Jacob, actually, if we can give you the exact stats here, Malone, of course, had the fastest lap of the race, doesn't really matter. Led the most laps, led 68 laps tonight. What a dominant car, what a great day. Jacob Malone, your winner. Jacob Malone, it's been a long time coming. You are finally a NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series winner. Dominant car tonight. It overall looks like you had a great car on the short run, great car medium run, and of course, pretty decent car on the longer runs as well. Such a great day for ETR as well. Just take me through how it was. Of course, you had that late race caution, bit of a scare there, but you guys were still able to hold on to it for your first career Cup Series win tonight.
You know, it's been a long time coming, which is surprising, the amount of times I've led here, and either I get wrecked while leading or just make a mistake. You know, it's nice to bring one home, especially for Ethan Tendler Racing. We all really worked as a group on the end stage. I was good on tires. Our team was entirely good on fuel. Cameron apparently wasn't. So I feel like going off of that, it would have been either me or Trenton winning the race, and it would have been fun. I had a good long run car. It just changed, especially in the first from the first run. I made a few mistakes, which heated my tires up, and then having more fuel than Cameron lost me the battle for second for the stage. Reagan won the stage, so congrats to him. I want to thank Dylan for helping me out there, along with Joseph and Trenton. We were all very good together, but it was nice. It was nice. Welcome to Michigan, and ETR will reign superior for the rest of the season now.
Yeah, so of course, huge win for the whole organization as well. 1-2 finish with Banks coming home second place. I know you're technically a part-time series driver, but you've ran the, of course, Cup and Xfinity these last 2 weeks. If you get the call up, how many more races do you think we're going to expect to see you in this season?
If I get the call up, I'll compete. Most likely, it depends on my personal schedule. Usually, I'm clear, especially because it's summertime. Don't expect that many super speedway races. I prefer my mile and a halves and road courses, so not that much on the short track side of things. So these past few weeks have been races that I personally enjoy racing. I might not be the best at the tracks, but it's just a lot of racing, which I enjoy. A lot more battles, a little bit of long run, which has been nice. So I'm just kind of abusing that, and it's been fun.
So, of course, you become a first-time winner in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. What kind of weight off your shoulders is this win? Of course, you've been so close. Think it back to maybe to even Texas last season, the Daytona 500 in Season 3. So many races. Even this
Last
season
week.
in Chicago. Yeah, of course. Just what a weight off the shoulder it is for you guys.
You know, I don't think there was really that much weight on me because of the part-timeness, and I knew my skill level coming in, and I knew my potential and chances to win, especially at Phoenix when I got wrecked last season when I was overall dominant car. I mean, that's been kind of a repeat of things. It's nice to, have the win label next to me now, next to my name now, but it's more of just proving that I can work well with teammates. I feel like that's the big outcome with this was just this showcased ETR's, performing as a full team and working together, even as part-time, doing what we can, and just seeing what we can do together.
All right, Jacob. Well, huge congratulations. Your first career victory here tonight from Michigan. Hopefully, first of many, and we'll see you in the next Cup or Xfinity Series race you're able to compete in.
All right, have a good one, man.
You too. Coming up next is going to be Dylan Banks, came home in second place. Dylan Banks, you come home second place. You ran maybe a pretty quiet day for you guys, maybe just outside the top 5 all day long, but you turned it up there at the end. We'll come home with a P2 finish, 1-2 finish for ETR. First win for ETR since season 1, embarrassing enough. But anyways, another great finish for you guys, though. Top 5, just still second place. Did you have any plans on racing Malone there at the end?
Not really. We had gave them team orders there at the end that we're working together. Because the draft is big. Especially with the a track like Michigan, it's huge. So, told the guys just stick together, push each other, and as long as one of us wins, that's all that matters. And we got ETR first win in a while. That's what we wanted.
So, of course, yeah, big win for the entire organization. It's been such a long time coming as well with these great finishes this season. But still, another runner-up finish for you guys. We're heading into the All-Star race next week at Rockingham. But then we go to Charlotte. It's the Coca-Cola 600. You're still looking for that first win of the year, though. You're, of course, our defending series champion. Down in Charlotte, do you think it's the day for you guys to get your first win?
Oh, it's any given week is it could be our week. Just got to go in there with the right mentality, the right mindset, and keep our head on a swivel. That's about all you can do. The win's coming for sure. It's definitely coming. It's not if, but it's when. But I'm fine without having a win right now. I think I'm sitting almost top 5 in points with way less races and no wins. And just goes back to what I said last year. It's all about consistency. Consistency is the key to making it in the playoffs and making a deep run into the playoffs. Consistency, you got to have consistency. And I think we've done that. Might not have the flashy wins or the top podium finishes all year this year, but just getting the most out of it and basically just getting the most out of it as we can each and every day.
All right, Dylan, well, still nice job coming home. Second place overall behind your teammate, Jacob Malone. Amazing day for ETR, 1-2 finish. Great job to you guys, of course, on all race long. And we'll see you from the All-Star race next week where you're locked in.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, coming up next, going to be Cameron Chandler comes home third place. Cameron Chandler, kind of an interesting day for you guys, to say the least. It all started early on where I believe it was Wilkin who made slight contact with Benton. Benton made slight contact with you. That got you guys turned around, created the big one on the back straightaway early in the race. You guys really didn't get too much damage from that. You were able to recover. You ran inside of the top 5, top 10 for the most of the day. Just take me through what happened early on in the race, of course, and then just some of the highlights throughout the rest of the day, ultimately coming home. Podium, third place.
Yeah, unfortunately we got turned around in that first wreck on lap 2. And I thought the race was over for us. We absolutely killed the tires and I thought we had a bunch of damage, but thankfully it was only 5 seconds and somehow I think the killed tires made us faster. And drove through the field but just got stuck in other people's dirty air. So maybe they need to clean their car or clean themselves and clean up their air or something. I don't really know, man. But yeah, and then stayed out as long as we could for that stage and got around Malone. And I don't. Apparently, there's an issue. I don't know if we won the stage or if Reagan won it, but
It was Reagan.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm getting reports that it's the other way around. So either
Well,
way,
it's not. You crossed the
if
line
it's
first.
well, yeah, nice try. That's not what Auto Stages says, according to Crash
Hmm.
Out Miller. But uh, yeah, and then second half, just I don't even know what happened. You just tried to save and then lost a ton of time. And then again, dirty year. So either way, good race, and we'll take P3. We finished ahead of Matthew White, and that's decent points there.
Yeah, so of course, gaining some points on the regular season. So we're heading, of course, to the Charlotte 600 in 2 weeks. We have the All Star race, of course, next week. But we're going to that because it's a points race. Of course, you won that race in insane fashion. What a race you had with Matthew White there last season. Do we expect maybe back-to-back Charlotte 600 wins for you guys to try to close that gap for the regular season title even closer?
I don't know, man. As long as we can rip the fence like we were able to last season and not have dirty cars in front of us, and by dirty cars I mean dirty air. Don't take that personally if anyone's listening to this. But yeah, hopefully as long as we can rip the fence, we should have a pretty good shot at it, and hopefully Matthew McWhite doesn't decide he's gonna send it in from Narnia.
All right, Cameron. Well, nice job still coming home third place here in Michigan. And we'll see you next week at Rockingham for the All Star race.
Yeah, and Jacob Malone, you don't like this, but nice try, Ethan Chandler.
Wow. Okay, anyways, coming up next is going to be, actually, look, Ashton Miller, P6. Ashton Miller, top 6 finish in your home race. Ultimately, not a bad day. You were actually involved in that crash early on. Take me through what happened there, and then that recovery for you guys. You'll finish 6th, just still not a bad day. Good points day for you guys.
Yeah, to your first point, that reckon like lap 1, I think it was. Yeah, that was just unfortunate. Really, sucks that it seems like Showtime Motorsports can never get a good run. Connor Aspel just had. It was really unfortunate for him. He tried saving the car, just didn't grip up. But overall, yeah, good race. Could have wished we finished better, but I mean, you can't pass anyone in these cars unless you get a really big run. So it's kind of like ridiculous. It's only like really good at super speedways now, but yeah, it was a good race. Just sad we couldn't get a win for our home track.
Yeah, so still a top 10 finish. You entered this race. I can check real quick. You guys entered this race 5th in points. Still in Banks, I think he scored a bit more points than you guys, so I think it's going to be close for you guys with 5th and 6th. But actually, Bryce Benson also fell back, so going to be an interesting battle for 4th, 5th, 6th. So third place, of course, gets those 5 playoff points at the end of the regular season. We're heading into the All-Star race next week at Rockingham. Then we got the Charlotte 600, the longest race of the season. What can we expect from you guys over these next few weeks to try to get into a better point situation and maybe even score stage points at the end of the regular season?
I mean, well, obviously 600. Of course, everyone wants to win that. I'm not really hopeful for the All-Star race. We really sucked at Rockingham. We've never been good there, but we'll try to do what we can best. Really excited for the 600, but hopefully it can go better than here because still trying to look for my first cup win and for like forever.
All right, Ashton. Well, still, nice job coming home top 10 P6 in your home race at Michigan, and we will see you at Rockingham next week for the All-Star.
Thanks.
Coming up next, some of your top finishers still to go. Got maybe 3 more interviews remaining here at Michigan. Next up, going to be P10, William Reagan. William Reagan, it's P10, top 10 finish, and then, of course, the stage win for you guys as well. A really good day for you guys, and it's going to be an amazing points night as well. It should get yourself very close to that playoff cut line. Just take me through what that amazing strategy was for you guys in that stage, actually somehow save enough to win it, barely enough, and ultimately getting the stage win and then still coming home top 10.
Yeah, so after that first big wreck, I actually pitted under that caution to get some extra fuel. And I thought other people were going to try to do it. I did this same strategy last week to finish second the stage at Chicago in. And I was just driving with the clutch for that entire run. And I was just saving tons of gas on corner entry using the clutch. And that set me up really well. Getting that stage win is huge for our team. We were well at the cut line, and now we should be way closer. And it honestly set us up for the second half. I felt I had a lot of confidence after that stage win, and it allowed me to battle around about the 10th to 11th spot for the rest of the night. Got up to 9th at one point, so it was a really good night for our 36 team.
So we're heading into the All-Star race next week. You are not locked in, so you're gonna have to try to race your way in through the open race. What is your confidence level heading into there at the All-Star race at Rockingham to try to race your way in?
Oh, I feel great right now. I've been getting better over this last couple race stretch, like Atlanta, Chicagoland, and now today, where I've been getting some great strategy, of course, but also getting faster in general. So I feel very good heading into Rockingham.
All right, so of course, All-Star race next week. Great points day for you guys. I think top 10, and then of course the stage win. And we'll see you next week, William, at the All-Star race.
Thank you.
Next up, Joseph Tucker. He comes home 8th. Joseph Tucker, all around, is probably the best day you've had since the Daytona 500. It's a top 10, still 8th place. ETR, fantastic day. Finished 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 8th. Just a great day for the whole organization. What was the teamwork like there all day long? And then ultimately, you guys coming home with still a top 10 finish, P8.
I mean, the teamwork was amazing. After pits, we were all running together. Me, Dylan, and Trenton, and had phenomenal cars after pit stops, other than me falling back like 10 seconds. But we don't talk about that. But the teamwork coming from after this first stage, we were phenomenal. We were doing everything we could on the restarts to try to get Jacob out and try to get at least one of us clear. And if we couldn't get one of us clear, we'd just battle hard. But coming home P8, I had a good car, but got dirty air block to the point I was too tight to even manage to turn left hard enough to get myself out the wall with 39 seconds of damage that I didn't want to take. And then, oh well. I mean, it's a great finish overall. It's the first race I finished this season, but I don't know. I'll try my hardest come Charlotte, and I'll continue improving from that.
All right, so of course the All-Star race is next week, first of all, and then we get the Coca-Cola 600. So of course it's the All-Star race. You guys are not locked in. Sean Hillquich, and Trenton Wilkin, all three of you from ETR aren't locked into the All-Star race. So what's going to be the plan to try to get at least two of you guys? It's the top two, I think, who advance to the All-Star race into the main event next week.
Honestly, I don't think there's going to be a plan. I think we're all just going to battle hard to try to lock two of us in. That's all I think. Well, I'll try to talk to Trenton and the other guy to see if we can create a plan for it. I don't think there's going to be a plan for it. We're just going to try to race our hardest to lock in.
All right, Joseph, still nice job coming home top 10 in that fantastic day for ETR. 4 of you guys inside of the top 8. Great job and all that for the teamwork all day long as well. And we'll see you at the All-Star race next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next up, we'll be getting more and more people in here for the interview, so just bear with us. Next up is going to be the 09 of John Butler for the Johnson Motorsports Ford Mustang. He ran 10th most of the day, ultimately comes home P11. John Butler, you guys ran inside the top 10 for a good majority of the day. It's going to be P11 ultimately. So what kind of happened there on that restart with about maybe a few laps to go to kind of put you guys a couple of positions further back?
I just want to say that incident was just fully netcode. I mean, the 99 was blinking and warping and bugging all race. I had to straighten out my wheels so I wouldn't get netcoded, and then I netcoded the other guy on the outside, which was netcode, but no one ever looks at the replay after the race, so I get ran in the back of and crash. So nothing I can do about that. And yeah, I just didn't have the I had the long run speed because I was saving tires, but short runs I just didn't have much. It's hard to pass.
Yeah, so of course it's P11 here tonight at Michigan. We head to the All-Star race next week from Rockingham. That's going to be an interesting one there. You guys are actually locked into that race. So and then we head to the Charlotte 600 after that. But what are your thoughts heading into Rockingham?
My thoughts is just to mind my own business, because I guess when I mind my own business, do what I gotta do. People just seems to somehow to reckon to me that first incident with the 77 that I had this race, completely just racing incident, in my opinion, was my fault. Yeah, but I go in the corner, I'm already tight. Comes not really comes down, but he's squeezing me. Spotter really didn't tell me where he was. Spotter says tight, and then we make contact. But I said sorry, but I guess I didn't say sorry loud enough, because then he's gonna come after the race talking about, oh, I didn't say sorry. But I don't know what more you want me to say. I mean, I was as far down as possible. Obviously, I'm gonna wash back up, so I don't really know what to say about that. But just next few races, just finish the race. That's all that matters. I mean, if any more that stupidness happens, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna say that. If any more that happens, oh well.
Yeah, okay, so of course, John, it's still P11. So nice job on the race along tonight. Top 11 finish for you guys, not bad. And we will see you from the All-Star race at Rockingham next week.
Yep, thank you. I like that, my spotter, Baron Cohen Jr.
All right, one more interview to go tonight. It'll be Zayn Rahman. He comes home, check real quick, P12 in his Cup Series debut. Not bad whatsoever. Zayn Rahman, P12 in your Cup Series debut tonight. That is a fantastic finish for you guys after just really just trying to bring it home for filling in with Pace and Lindsay. We actually saw you guys restart on the with the lead. Actually, you stayed out. So what was with that? What was going on with that strategy call there? About halfway through the race, and then ultimately coming home with a great finish in your Cup debut in 12th.
Yeah, so honestly, I wasn't expecting everyone else to pit after that caution itself. I thought everyone else was going to stay out. So yeah, that was completely uncalled for, and I was not ready for everything for that. So I kind of fell off on the restart, and then laps go by, and then I spun out and get spun out by dirty air, so that didn't go too well.
So of course, it's 12th place tonight. We head to Rockingham in the Xfinity Series next week. That's, of course, the series you're full-time in. What can we expect from you there? And then, of course, we got Charlotte after that.
Rockingham, I'm not really sure, considering, well, it is a really loose track, so something I have to work on. Charlotte, on the other hand, I think I might be fine with that.
All right, Zane, well, nice job still coming home. 12th place, filling in for Pace and Lindsay, who will be back in a few weeks' time. And, of course, we'll see you in Rockingham for the Xfinity Series race there.
Yep, thanks. One more thing. Huge thank you to the team, Chevy Motor Club, for allowing me this. It was a last-minute decision, so, yeah. Can't be more thankful for that.
All right. So that will do it here tonight. All right, of course, wrapping it up here from Michigan. Landon, any maybe final thoughts on this one here tonight from Michigan?
Oh, proud of my teammates. I need to learn how to not get damaged in a race and finish a race. No, not really, besides that.
All right, well, overall, great day of racing in Michigan. Great weekend of racing as well. Jacob Malone goes to victory lane for the first time in his Cup Series career. He is definitely going to be enjoying this one for a long time coming. So that'll do it tonight in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series in Michigan. We hope you enjoyed race 10 of season number 4. Of course, we'll be back next week for the Xfinity Series at Rockingham. Brand new track on the Xfinity Series schedule. That's points race for the Xfinity Series on Wednesday. Thursday, we have the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series Season 4 All-Star Race. That happens at Rockingham as well. We'll have the open race at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and then the main event after that. And should be a fun weekend. Next week, we'll also have iCar on Tuesday at Rockingham, all at Rockingham, North Carolina next week, before we prepare you for the Charlotte 600 week, where we have iCar trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup Series Charlotte 600 in 2 weeks' time. So that'll do it here tonight. We hope you enjoyed in Michigan. On behalf of all officials, team owners, commentators, drivers, everybody involved making this league what it is, we will see you next week from Rockingham, North Carolina for both iCar, Xfinity, and the Cup Series All-Star Race. Good night from the Irish Hills of Michigan.